is fun. We've been wanting to do this for a long time.
Yeah.
I don't know sports in Sacramento without Antonio Harvey.
Likewise, man.
And Antonio, when I first started being around the Kings back in the early 2000s and being at Monarchs games all summer, Antonio was one of the first people I gravitated towards, and still here doing that work, man. Tony, we're so happy that you're here, bro. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Absolutely. This is a guy. I don't know. What was I? Probably
High
20.
school.
Yeah, it was before that. I was about 17, 18 years old.
Yeah,
I was like,
it was before you
know,
got
I
to
think-
Columbus River College.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna make it to the NBA. But after I make it to the NBA, you know, I want to do, you know, some journalism stuff. So, you know, is there anything that you can give me pointers on? He's like, all right, cool. Let me get you into this Kings game on Saturday or something. I'm like, what? Get you? Sure enough, had to pass. He had me there. I'm up there. You know,
The birth of courtside Kenny.
I was
Kenny was dressing like Iverson at this time now.
Oh
folks,
man,
you know? it was deep. Now I mean, here's a guy who wanted to be a journalist, but you know he had his swag. He had his Iverson swag going on too at the same time. So it was you know we was just talking about I was just telling Jess, you know, our background with Kenny and stuff. But one thing I can say about, and you will probably already know too, Dane. KC has did everything that he has said he was going to do in this business. So, you know, I'm just glad, you know, you and him got to hook up and, you know, expand on this. On this dynamic thing that's happening right here. You know, you got the #1 show in the afternoon.
I mean, you know, it is what it is, you know.
You know, not just because of Kenny.
Anytime slot, to be honest with you. You know, if we're going to be factual, anytime slot, not just the afternoon, anytime slot, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, we're thankful for the opportunity to do this together every day, man, and we're thankful for the opportunity to hang out with people like you. Let's because I don't know. I mean, a lot of people know your voice from pre games and post games and different press conferences. Certainly during the Zoom era of sports journalism, we would air, you know, Monty McNair.
Yeah, Monty McNair did.
We'd air you know, like press conferences in their entirety on the radio, and people would know that voice. But you know, share a little bit with us. We were having a conversation for the streaming audience. Like you from Mississippi.
Actually, I was born and raised in Illinois, Champaign, Illinois.
Okay.
You know, the heart of the country. I mean, Ragdab Smith, you know,
fighting
90 minutes from Indian. Hey, thank you, University of Illinois. 90 minutes from Indianapolis, about 90 miles south of Chicago, 2 hours southwest of St. Louis. And then I grew up there, and then I went to Southern Illinois University, which is on the tip of Illinois.
The Salukis, right?
I was SIU, Carbondale Salukis. You got it, my man. But I was born in Illinois, but you know, I call myself a son of the Great Migration because I was conceived in Mississippi, but I was born in Illinois. So
got you. Families from Mississippi.
Family, right.
Yeah.
So I'm running back and forth, you know, during my childhood. I'm running back and forth, you know, during my childhood from Illinois, Louisiana, and Mississippi. You know, of course, Mississippi, because my mom was born in right outside of Jackson, Mississippi and stuff. So
man, those are different places, boy. Oh my God.
Yes,
man, oh man.
Yeah, but you got to understand, like I said, the Great Migration, all of this stuff made it happen. And this was like the first wave. The second wave was out here on the West Coast and stuff. So my mom and her brothers and her sisters and stuff, they migrated north. You know, because there were the jobs and, you know, the industrial jobs in Chicago, and then, you know, you had the automotive movement that was going on in places like Toledo, Toledo, Cleveland, and Detroit. But she ended up in you know, the heart of Illinois. So yeah, and I moved out here in 1988, Damien. So I've been out here for a chunk of years. I'm probably more Sacramento than I'm in anything, but I do pay homage to my hometown and stuff.
No doubt.
I graduated from Sac State. I was going to SIU, but I ended up graduating from Sac State in journalism. And I've been at this for quite some time and stuff. So been cool.
Yeah,
you know?
man.
Been cool.
So how'd you get with the Kings? Was it with the Observer?
The first one I did was with them back in 95, 96. And then I spent a stint at the B, and I did the Oscar Oscar Robertson story, because at that time, Oscar Robertson record stood 40 years, the triple-double record.
Who beat it? Who's
Russell Westbrook.
Oh, is that right?
We got love for Russ over here.
Is that right?
I got love for him too.
For him.
Yeah. Definitely one of my favorite players too. But yeah, so then I had to go down to one of the Kings practices and interview Adelman and talk to him about it, and he was gracefully honorably gracious to give me the interview to talk about that,
which he wasn't always at that time, from what I understand.
Oh my goodness, but he was talkative, doing this. He didn't really want to talk. I mean, Darren May was the point guy, in media relations for the team at that time, and he hooked it up and everything like that, and it took off. And I did have a discussion with Oscar Robertson, because he played for the Cincinnati Royals when he did that, and that was 60-61 when he did that, and they were just about to release a video out on it. That's how I got the story.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked to the guy who produced the video, and then he hooked me up with Oscar Robertson, and it all came. It was probably one of the first stories. I think SI Sports Illustrated picked it up after that, but it was probably one of the first stories about that at that time, because really people wasn't really focused on triple doubles, right, as they are now, because the game has changed and evolved. And eventually, through the Sacramento Kings, just a few years ago, I was able to meet Oscar Robertson.
Nice.
Interesting enough, though, he grew up in Indianapolis, so he's not that far from where I grew up too. I think he was from Tennessee, but family migrated up north, same way, with the Great Migration, and for better jobs and stuff like that. And he was telling me all these things. I just make this real short, though. One thing that caught my attention was when he was telling me about the Negro baseball leagues and how Jackie Robinson really, jumped into that platform, with Major League Baseball, and it was an economic thing. Now, this coming from Oscar Robertson, okay? Those owners out there saw that the gate receipts that was coming from the Negro Baseball League was astronomical, okay? And they wanted that money too, okay? So in order to do that, you're going to have to let a couple of these people in here.
You mean it wasn't about racial equality? Oh, man, we've been sold a bill of goods.
We got bamboozled.
Oh, I thought they brought Jackie Robinson up because they thought all man was created equal.
Yeah. He was pretty.
I'm shocked to find out it was about money.
Man, he told me about that, and I wasn't really paying attention to it, but like, okay, I see. Then started letting, Larry Doby came in after that, then Satchel Paige, 2 or 3 years after that, and they had a section for black folks, so they can sit there and watch the game. But they, basically dismantled the leagues, and a lot of those guys got left behind. A lot of them, these black ball players played for them. Oscar was telling me about these things. They tried out for these teams, but they knew they wasn't going to make it. They just give him a shot. He's not going to make the team. He's not going to take another job from another player anyway. Because at that time, when they were filtering in, it was only like 2 or 3 black ball players for each team. Okay. And then he was telling me about, the NBA. Okay. He said when, like Bill Russell and all them, when they first came in, the thing was, you don't shoot the ball. You're only here to do one thing: play defense and grab rebounds. Okay, this is coming from Oscar Robertson. He's telling me about about the game, about the situation back there. Okay, when they were bringing in black players in the NBA, no, you're not going to be scoring 17, 15, 20 points a game. I need you to get 10, 11 rebounds a game. Okay. That was their deal and stuff like this. Is coming from Oscar Robertson, and we wasn't just talking about basketball. We were talking about blacks in sports. So it was. I still have that story. It definitely was not the pinnacle of my career, but it's definitely Yes. I really appreciated doing that interview and interviewing him at that time. It was like I was starstruck, anything like that, but I just learned so much about reporting, through that one interview.
It's shown in your work since I've known you, having you care about getting things right, getting things factual. And also one of the things that I learned from you is, giving the athletes an opportunity to speak their piece, not having people in the media speak for them, so to speak. Like, hey, you got an opportunity. I got a platform. I'll give you the opportunity to say what it is that's on your mind. Your time here with the Kings and dealing with the Kings. Who do you think like benefited from that the most? From like your relationship?
I wouldn't say that
with,
he benefited from it, but he actually gave me the
appreciated it a
opportunity.
little
He
bit.
gave me some inside information about himself too. Maybe we have little spiritual things. Him coming from Mobile, Alabama, but DeMarcus' cousin was, just to give you an example. When he Sacramento High School, which he would spend a lot of time with those kids down there.
Mhm.
They had probably one of the oldest shot clocks, scoreboards in the area. Probably not, in the state. It probably been there before Kevin Johnson when he was playing there. So he thumped down something like $27,000, to hook them up and bring them up to par with a 21st century scoreboard. And I think it was him and his manager. I forget what his name is.
Andrew,
right. They really wanted me to have that story. It's like, okay, all right, you guys, you trust what I do. Okay, you see what I do. I can get the information out, and I can get it out to the right people. Actually, it went nationwide, countrywide, but I would say, DeMarcus. There was a lot of them too. Indirectly, Bobby Jackson and Doug Christie, did some stories on there, and Chris Webber. Chris Webber. And I was just following the things that they were doing in the community. Okay. A little that people know, since DeMarcus left, there haven't been that much activities going on with the players in the community, especially with COVID-19, except for the exception of Harrison Barnes.
Yeah.
Okay. He's true to the game.
Yep.
Yeah.
He is true to the game. He goes into Oak Park.
Yep.
He buy gifts for these kids. He served dinner to these kids, him and his wife.
Yeah.
Okay. That's part of the game. That's part of the coverage. That's part of the journalistic game that I'm talking about. Those are things that I really look for. Because I'm not gonna come here and talk about who bought the first box of popcorn or hot dog from the Rochester War Memorial in 1955 and their visiting team, the Syracuse National and all that. I'm looking for these community type things, and some of these players never will forget DeMarcus. I really appreciate it, and thank you, brother. For the things that you gave to this community and me as a reporter.
And fair to say that DeMarcus did a lot more that about that he told you.
Yes,
don't report about.
Yeah. I mean, some of those things did come out later on.
Yeah, late. Yeah, in the moment.
For instance, he paid for a funeral of J.J. Clavo, who was killed in November of 2015 in the Del Paso Heights. After a football game practice, he went to Grant High School, something like that, and he fed a lot of people too. Okay, he had, he did his community events at Sacramento high schools, those camps and stuff. Those kids, they really looked up to him. Okay, as a person, not so much as an athlete. Okay, they had that connection, that synergy going on between them and his people that he had working there. You walk out of there with some swag that you never had before. Okay, that he was giving away shoes, that he had played in the games and stuff. Those things really do boost a community's confidence, and especially some people that Oak Park going through some gentrification things like that, but there's still some disadvantaged spots up in there.
Yeah,
those things means a lot, and the NBA, they know these things, Sacramento, Harrison, he's still here. Hopefully you still keep going those things there. And then these other cats that, that they brought in, they understand that. I know the main thing right now is winning, winning for the city, winning for the region, Sacramento region. And they get on board with that too.
I'm sorry, I just want to mention one thing. We'll shift to the current Kings in a second, but I want to stress the importance of Antonio telling these stories over the years, because there are prominent voices who have used lines like $25 million Santa Claus, and how, like, I've tried to explain people in the past how offensive that is when you realize what he's doing for a community. And that's why the DeMarcus has a lot of flaws, a lot of them. But man, he did a lot for this community.
Absolutely.
And I think I can comfortably say this. Antonio, you might be. He still does.
Yeah,
he does that.
Yeah.
He still does.
He's still around one way or another. His presence is still felt.
Right.
And I remember, I think I talked to you about this, Tone, when it was going on. I'm a young kid, South Sacramento, 24 from foreign, and over in Green Haven or whatever the case may be. And I remember when I was in like grade school, middle school, I used to go to the Salvation Army, the Ray Robinson Community Center, every day after school. The Kings would practice there from time to time. Daryl Roberts, Daryl Roberts would make sure the kids that were there got a chance to at least see these guys practice. So, there was times when I'd see them, maybe sign an autograph or whatever the case may be. But we could see these guys, and they come out of practice. Mitch Richmond, Brian Grant, they, wave to us, talk to us, whatever the case may be. Randy Brown or wasn't, but that's a whole nother story.
The grudge that'll never end.
I heard your story about Randy.
Well, that's a whole nother story. But there came a time when these basketball camps, these autograph signings, whatever the case may be, and I don't mean to disparage anybody or any region, but they'd always go out to El Dorado Hills. Always go out here to Rockland, out to Roseville, or whatever. And that's cool. They need to see the Kings too. But they would, I'm all for, I need a little bit of both. It can't all be in Oak Park. It can't all be in El Dorado Hills. If you're going to El Dorado Hills, have a couple of camps over here. And Cuz was the first one. This happened for 10 years. Cuz was the first one to be like, nah, I'm having my camp at Sac High. I'm going to Sac High to do it. And then I think
somebody was trying to pull him away from that, but
he's like, no, I'm having it Sac High. And I think, if I got it correctly, I think his was free, right?
It was free.
Yeah.
It went on for 3 days. It wasn't a 1 day, 2 hour type of, event. It went on for about 3 or 4 days. He was serious about that too. Yes. Yeah. But DeMarcus Cousins. I know.
I'll never forget that about him.
When they brought in Keegan his first time after he was drafted, they took him to MLK Tech, North area, on the other side of Del Paso, and those kids and the parents, they went nuts. They went bananas. They're not around these guys all the time.
Right.
It was so good. The atmosphere was so beautiful and passionate. Keegan did not want to leave. Okay, and I was telling Carrie Ida, who's vice one of the media
communications people,
communications. It's like these areas, they're the one that need it. Okay,
and you know what? I'll this. I give a big shout out to my guy, Uncle V, and the whole crew over at the Kings, because they are aware of that now, and they got people like Kendra around to make sure they know exactly. All right, let's make sure we touch these people too. And the Kings are very good with that right now.
Ain't nothing slipping through the cracks with Kendra.
That's probably why they brought kids. Because she worked at Sierra Foundation. That's probably why they brought her in there for that. She knows the community.
Yeah,
and
she's
she can make that connection.
She's killing it. They listen to her, and they do a great job with her right now. They do a great job.
What do you think about this current team? We think about what we're seeing 10 games into the season.
Man, I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. I'm seeing these little bitty improvement. I heard you guys talking to Anthony Slater while I was driving in. And I'm seeing these little, I'm getting these little hints and improvements, from the team too. They still have to do some things as far as the starts, because these starts does affect the third quarter. I don't know why. That's a mystery. But it seems like they're pulling it together. And you guys have been talking about it too, what Malik had said. I had asked him the same question too in San Francisco after the game, after that loss. He's like, we're close.
Yeah.
We're super close. Okay. All right. Okay. This guy, he knows something. He knows something, and we better pay attention to it. And of course, he's been putting out, but I'm liking what I'm seeing so far, but these things with, going on with the referee and all that, but the Gambinos and the Corleones need to stay up out of this. I don't know. There's some point shaving going on, but Silver, Commissioner, you need to get this stuff fixed, because one thing that I will say, at least in defense of Mike Brown, when he speak about these things, he's not defending his players. He's defending an organization. He's defending the franchise. He's defending the city when he talk about these things. And we already knew this stuff was going on. Okay. Right. The last coach, Alvin Gentry. No, Alvin Gentry. Okay. He alluded to these things. You know, he was real shy about it because you're going to get a fine about these things. He alluded to some of these things last season for that short span that he had while he was coaching. But these things are happening. Yeah. Okay, there's no respect for the Sacramento Kings, but the Sacramento Kings going to have to show that, earn that respect. Respect is not given, it's earned. So they have to earn that. And I think that's what Malik was talking about. You're going to give us our respect. Mm-hmm. Okay. We're out here busting our tails out here. You're going to give us our respect. And I really like the way he approached this. I mean, look what he's doing. The last 8 games, he didn't score like, the last 8 games, I think 6 of those games, he didn't score like 15 points or more. Mm-hmm. Okay. With the high of 24 in San Francisco the other night. Mm-hmm. Okay. He's looking at what he's doing and he's putting together his body of work, with this team. I think I texted you. This Bobby Jackson. Not in the same style or nothing like that. Yeah. Okay. We haven't had a 6-man who can do these type of things on the defensive end and on the offensive end and stuff. Yeah. Malik Monk has been that type of person. But back to what you're saying, Damien, I'm really liking to see what's going on here. Like the man said, earlier, he told us in practice, Mike Brown, don't panic, after 0-4 start, okay, see where we are in 20 games. And that's exactly what I've been doing. I do that every year anyway. But by the time I reach this 20 game, I'm kind of like done with the team.
Well, normally by the time we get to 20 games, you have a right to be done with the teams.
They got to me a little earlier last year when they fired Luke. Bless you too. Man.
Last year he was done 17 games.
17 games in, he's done. I said, "Oh, it's over. It's done."
Luke's out. Tony's done. Tony's finished.
But it's the development. It's that vibe that they got going on right now, and they're developing every day. I see that they're addressing a lot of the problems that this team has had, over the years, and the starts. The third quarters, the breakdowns in the last 5 minutes of the game, things like that. It's slowly coming together. It really is. What caught my attention in San Francisco when they fell down they were 20-17. They fell, okay. They came back and it was up by 31-30 or 31-29 to end the first. That's not a characteristic of the Sacramento Kings. They don't do things like that. Once they're down, they're down. And they're okay, this is an uphill battle. They don't start playing again until the fourth quarter. Oh, we're down. We got to, try to, come back and win this game and stuff. So I'm seeing these little steps, baby steps, little steps that they're working towards, to get these things done. But everybody knows these last few years, I have not seen this type of energy coming from this ball squad in the last few years as I am seeing right now. So that is good. They are trending in the right direction.
Love that.
Antonio, man, this was a blast, bro. Can't thank you enough for coming in to hang out with us, man. Yes. We appreciate this, but we appreciate you. Like I don't know that we say that enough, man, but we really do appreciate.
Hey, did anybody know that Damien is a comedian?
Oh, he's hilarious.
Well, I think it was back in 2007 to 2008. We was at downtown, and he was on stage hosting something. I think IO.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. Yes. You know what I'm talking about. Folks, he's funny. You think you hear him casually on the on the airwaves, but he had me dying that night, man. I mean, it was absolutely great. He's a comedian.
Cell phone. Boy,
you didn't think I remember that, huh?
No, I sure as hell did. I barely remembered it. I was like, Carlos, and then you mentioned Io threw a show there. Yes, and I did. I emceed it. Hey, man, can you go up there and do something? What? Like comedy, like nightclubs were always like, it's cool. It's a nightclub. It's whatever. But comedy things were different because they expect beverages involved. You gotta lubricate. You gotta try to relax a little bit.
No moonshine.
I can't believe you remember that, dude.
Yeah, and the thing about it, I'm like,
you remember that.
Here's a guy I'm listening to on the other radio station. I'm not gonna, playing music. I'm not gonna mention it and stuff. I'm not.
The music say SKSFM. They write it.
Okay, KSFM.
Down there. Right here. We all right.
Okay, KSM FM, okay, and a friend of the people, friend of the listeners, the thing, but he was never cracking any jokes at that time. And then I go to, this nightclub, and he's standing on stage actually telling jokes and jokes that are funny. Talent. That's talent, man.
Oh, I think you're being very kind, but I do appreciate that, man. I
want to-
appreciate that.
I'm just wrapping up real quick that, the relationship that I built when we was covering the Sacramento Monarchs.
Yeah.
You and Jerry Reynolds, probably two that stand out the most, while I was down there, doing all that.
Yeah, that meant a lot to me.
Mhm.
Because that's always,
And Wisnett, excuse me, John Wisnett.
Oh, Coach Wiz was an amazing dude, man. It's always kind of awkward to be in that position that I was with Sacramento, and like there were people who covered the Monarchs that I didn't trust their motives. You know what I mean? But like Tony was always just, let's just talk.
Come on, man.
And that was always cool to me.
Hey, man, I said it before. I'll say it again. I know me personally. Yeah, I'm not here without this dude, man. I'm absolutely not here. And I appreciate you, brother.
You standing up on your own right now. And like I said, I like the way that, you and Damien hooked up, and I see you things doing, with the corners of the culture and stuff like that. I noticed some big things on down the road. That's exactly what I want to see you guys doing. I follow everything that y'all do. I'm sitting at home. I still work at home. So I'm listening to you guys, throughout the day, not all day, but throughout the day. I'm tweeting back at you, but you're trending, you're trending. You've earned everything that you pursued. That was your objective, and here you are.
That's love, man. Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you. Thank you too, Damien, for bringing him up too.
Nah, man, that's all on his own, man.
That's all on his own. Everybody's looking for the new talent. You found it.
Man, I got lucky, man. I'm just Marty Jannetty.